1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Whoops. There we are. Hello. Welcome to the show. And it's Tuesday after the Christmas holiday. It's the 7th? Good God. Not much time left in this god-awful year. And my sister Susan's joining us from Chicago. Suze.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
You know, everybody's saying, thank God 2016's almost gone. But you know what?
2017 ain't shaping up to be such a
Right,
thing
no.
to look forward to.
Why is anyone thinking it's going to be a good one to look for? Yeah, I mean, really, please. We might look back wistfully on 2016.
Yeah, for example, think about how you're looking at W right now.
I know. What a good man.
What a good man. We didn't know when we had it good.
I learned so long ago.
Good old Dick Cheney.
Yeah. Oh, God, that I can't do. But I learned so long ago, and I learned this when I was working in TV, that we always thought if things couldn't get worse. I mean, I remember every few minutes somebody would say, "Oh God, well at least it can't get any worse." I learned early on. I mean, I remember thinking that when my husband was so ill. Well, there can't be anything worse than this. And then I started thinking, oh yes, there can. Stop. You know, I mean, there's still plenty of people you love. Yeah, right. It can always get worse.
It can always get worse.
Yeah. Jeez. And usually does. That's the thing. Anyway, well, so you can see we're in a good state of mind.
On that happy note, I just got a text from my son who was visiting his in-laws with his wife and child in Bakersfield. And they all ended up at the emergency room last night with norovirus.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. Well, isn't that nice? The family who craps together.
It's everybody except for the two little boys and Arlie's wife. I'm thinking,
So have they figured out what the
hands full? No, I said figure out what they didn't touch or eat, and bleach everything else.
God, is that a relatively quick horror? I mean, it goes away pretty.
He says they seem to be
getting better.
Seems to be right, but he was texting me at 6:00 his time, so he probably was up not feeling very well. And he's suggesting that they might have to stay longer if it ends up going through my grandson and my daughter.
Yeah, you're right, if it gets to them. Oh, gosh. Well, I hope that doesn't happen. Okay, so speaking of, we were saying that, it's hard to be hopeful looking ahead at the new year. And I have to tell you the first thing I read when I woke up this morning.
What?
It was a big mistake. I should know better. First thing I did was I looked at my Twitter feed. And here's what was on it. It was Donald Trump. And he said this: "The world was gloomy before I won. There was no hope. Now, the market is up nearly 10%, and Christmas spending is over $1 trillion. And I'm thinking, frightening little man. The world was gloomy before I won. There was no... Does he think he's Jesus? What the hell?
He is ill, and he hasn't even figured out that he's not the president yet. And if the world's doing well and the economy's doing well...
He didn't do it.
He didn't do it. It's because Obama did it.
I know.
He hasn't figured out he's not the... He thinks Obama's supposed to stop now.
It's just... I mean, when you look... Do you even know a human being that would say the things that he tweets out? I mean, that even if they felt them, they would have this sense of, well, I better not say that. People think I'm a jerk. I mean, do you even know anybody with this absolute... I don't know. I mean, I
know.
He's crazy. He's crazy. He has the emotional maturity of... I don't want to say bad things about 2, 3, 4, or 5-year-olds. Huh?
You don't insult a small child.
No. Oh. And then, he was tweeting up a storm. He says something about the United Nations. Then he has another tweet about President Obama said he thinks he would have won against me. Ha! He should say that, but I say no way, all caps. What kind of a child is this? Right, we don't want to denigrate children. Oh, my God. Oh.
Isn't there a Christmas carol like that? What child is this?
Well, I hope everybody survived their Christmas holiday and actually had a nice time. For those of you who had family landmines to negotiate, I hope you did.
I think most people have family landmines to negotiate, and I think this year was even worse, because although Lee and I, at the last moment, decided to hop in the car and go to
St.
Louis, and we boarded my big dog, but we took the new kitten because the new kitten was so little. So the kitten spent the weekend at a nice hotel and thoroughly enjoyed herself.
They let you bring a cat into a hotel?
Yeah, we had to pay. We had to pay. You go to a pet-friendly hotel and then pay. You just pay a cleaning deposit.
Jeez. I've never thought of traveling with cats. They are generally like so, skittish about new surroundings that I just think it's too upsetting for them. But so the cat just stayed in the hotel room?
Yeah.
And did okay?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And now I can hear my poor doggy crying at the bottom of the basement stairs because he wants to come upstairs and can't.
Well, you want to go get him?
I'll wait a little bit.
Hey, sorry guys, her dog's not feeling right either. So, okay, I don't know. I have. I'm trying to think what I've been up to we had a pretty nice weekend, I guess, but went to one event where quite clearly bringing up politics would have been ill-advised, and so nobody did. And everybody had a good time, just didn't do it.
Well, I mean, as I started to say, we were with my husband's family, which means that there were a lot of
Trump voters.
Right, and particularly one of my nephews who I have been arguing with vociferously through the whole campaign. Mm-hmm. And the first second I saw him, I just went up to him and gave him a big hug and said, I enjoyed sparring with you. And he gave me a big hug back and said, me too, and that was the end of it. And then we said, we aren't talking politics tonight. And we said, nope.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't, you somehow hung on and you didn't say under your breath to him, thanks for destroying the country.
No, I didn't say a word. I was on careful ground anyway, so we were being good.
Oh, God. All right. So did I tell you? I went to my doctor, and he said he's been inundated with people freaking out. They can't sleep. They can't eat. I always said I wish that would befall me. They're anxious. They're depressed. He said he's never seen anything like it. He didn't see anything like it after 9/11. He has not seen people react where they literally feel ill.
Well, they're frightened.
They're scared.
We've got a guy who's talking about, restarting the arms race, who is who has made whole groups of people feel less than marginalized, endangered. It's. I totally get it.
Yeah. I do too. I still can't. I guess there's part of me that can't believe it. That can't believe that we're supposed to exist for 4 years with this idiot. I mean, idiot at the helm. And again, no aspersions on idiots. Jesus. It's really hard to imagine. And I am... I have to look askance at people who aren't in almost a constant state of fear. I understand we have to live our lives, but people who can somehow just, we'll get through, who can just brush it away, because I don't think this is, again, it ain't normal. It's frightening. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I can't, So, I watched It's a Wonderful Life again.
You did?
Susan, I have seen that movie, I would guess, 50 times? 50 times? I don't know.
At least. I mean, all the way through, just sitting there and watching it.
Yeah! I love it. I love it. I've been watching other movies that I've seen a million times. Maybe for me, there's comfort in it. I don't know.
Well, of course there's comfort in it. You know the beginning, you know the middle, and you know the end, and it will be all okay.
And they're good. It's a good movie. Tell me that's not a good movie. It's a Wonderful Life? You don't think it's a good movie?
No, it is. I do think it's a good movie, but, I don't know. I don't watch it 50 times. Sorry.
It just... So anyway, I was reading this thing. So when Jimmy Stewart made that movie, he was about 1.5 to 2 years out of World War II.
Right.
And Jimmy Stewart, you might not know this, was a decorated bombardier pilot. Well, actually, no, I think he was a pilot. He was a pilot, and he got some French medal. He got a bunch of stuff. He was nearly shot down a number of times. He really lived that war. He was a squadron commander. That's what he was. A squadron commander of B-24 bombers. And he made a whole bunch of forays leading all these other pilots over Germany. And now I think we would look at the returning Jimmy Stewart and say the guy's got serious post-traumatic stress disorder. Duh. He, after the war, lived almost entirely on ice cream and peanut butter. He could not keep real food down. He couldn't sleep. He didn't know what to do with his life. He thought, after what he had seen, that making movies was about as stupid a way to live a life as there could be. And this opportunity came to star in this movie. And he said, I don't think I can do it. First of all, if you think of the movie, he's playing a young 20-something kid. He was 38 years old. He was almost 40 years old. And he'd been through war, and he looked like it. So they did a lot of makeup on him in that movie, which you don't see. And they had to be careful about lighting so that he would look youthful. And people who worked with him then say he was really a wreck. He was a wreck. And then to see that movie and to think that is what his inner life was, I mean, that's just amazing to me.
Well, but I mean, he's playing a man in such terrible turmoil, and maybe the movie helped him.
Yeah. Well.
But no, why we think PTSD is some new thing? And
no, it's just got a name.
Have it. I mean, they just.
It's got a name.
All the
now.
different things.
Right. So, it was Lionel Barrymore, the guy who plays the bad guy, Mr. Potter. Lionel Barrymore, who helped him put things in perspective, because he was, I guess, constantly saying, this is just stupid. This whole thing, I mean, it's just a waste of time. My God, the world is, a disaster, and we're sitting here making this stupid movie. And Barrymore said to him, isn't entertaining people better than dropping bombs on them? And I guess that helped him, he said. So there you have it. I watched A Wonderful Life for the 50th time, and then I found this out about the star, who was so winning in it, and who was so... the woman who played his wife, Donna Reed, she said it was a very difficult shoot many times because of Stewart's just depression and misery. Isn't that something? So I guess he didn't have to act much when he was about to jump into the river.
No, he wasn't acting. That was the way he felt. Through the whole movie, that's how he feels.
Pretty much. And then you look at that, and I mean, maybe the movie helped him as a person get some of that out. Once you know the inner life and what was really happening to the man, to watch him make his way through that movie, which becomes iconic then.
But you think about the men in that war. I know that one of my brothers-in-laws says that it helped him as a grown-up to understand that his father had terrible post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what they were looking at as they were little boys, but he was a bombardier.
Yeah.
And he was ruined. I mean, he really came back a fundamentally different human being and stayed that way.
Yeah, I have a friend whose father also was a bombardier, came back, lived his life, but he became an alcoholic. He was never ever recovered.
Right.
Because when you were up in those planes, you didn't expect to live. You went up day after day and figuring it was your last. Unbelievable. And they all came back and they didn't say much of anything, did they?
No. And our father never
did either. Not till he was...
Not until he was old.
When he was real old and when he's nearing his end. And when you're nearing your end, you're thinking a lot about your life. You're reviewing it in your head. And for Dad, what was so amazing is for a guy who never talked about the war, I think, became the biggest thing in his life as he looked back. He talked about it all the time then.
All the time. I can remember being in Europe with them, and Mom was, as usual, off doing just one more thing while the rest of us were dying and sleeping in our rooms. And Dad knocked on Eric's in my room and came in with a bottle of scotch and just sat there. That's all he did. He was like, we sat in the room and got drunk together, and he told war stories.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Strange. So they moved on, and yet at the end, the repression of all that memory
came bubbling out.
It just had to out, yeah.
Well, and I thought that the interesting part, our father was very hard on himself.
Oh,
insisted on telling stories
that made him look like
right, where he felt that he had just failed.
Right. He didn't feel brave.
And what he didn't understand is that
nobody
did anybody else.
No.
Nobody feels really brave unless they're totally crazy.
But he was so honest about it. I mean, he talked about the first time he ends up in with bombs dropping around him, and I mean, he said he just he just became physically ill. He was so terrified. But he managed. He did.
Well, after the first time, he pulled himself together, and he felt it, but he responded better. But he never forgave himself for not being, a
hero.
For not being, a cartoon character of what a soldier is. The fact is that they're just our dads and our brothers and our kids, and they're human beings, and they're terrified, and they come back damaged.
Indeed. Oh, well, God, how do we get on that? Oh, It's a Wonderful Life.
It's Merry Christmas.
That's over.
I know. Well, now we're in the days of secular awe in between Christmas and
the New Year. I have to tell you, this is like that dead week. It's a dead week, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Does anything happening? That's why I'm not talking about anything in the news. Does anything really happen? I mean, other than the horror of Trump's tweets. I mean, and there's other stuff.
I mean, here's what's horrible. Apparently, bunches of marauding teenagers talking on social media have managed to cause fights and disruptions in major shopping centers across the country.
Yeah, did you know that? I mean, all over the country. It didn't matter. There were cities all over that saw brawls at malls.
Yeah, why
is that something that happens?
Why are we
now?
bringing up children that think that read on social media that someone is going to go and start a brawl in a mall, and think, oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that too.
I don't know. We had one here at the Monroeville Mall over the weekend.
We had one in a suburban area out here too.
And nobody really knows. I mean, if you look at each one individually, they're not all the same. This wasn't some, what the hell? It's when kids have nothing to do. They're not in school, so they go to the mall and scare the bejeebers out of people. And somebody said there's blood on the floor.
My daughter was talking to me about that yesterday. She was, the realities of being a black person in Chicago. She said, on Halloween, they close the school and the children go home and they get locked in precisely because there are marauding groups of people out with masks on. It's not safe.
Yeah.
She said, but, go 5 miles north and everybody's out in their costumes trick-or-treating and having a good time.
Oh. Jeez.
But exactly what you just said, that's exactly what happens. You got a bunch of kids out of school with access, with nothing to do, and apparently no one paying attention. And this is what this is what we've come to. I don't quite get it.
Well, let's
I
not.
don't think things used to be this bad.
It seems not, but then think of like Marlon Brando, James Dean movies where the teens,
Yeah, on their motorcycles.
On their motorcycles and having, fights and stuff. So maybe that's just a teenage thing that is made worse by, of course, social media and the capacity to organize it in some manner. I don't know. But yeah, it sure does seem like things are not great. Hey, let's do the obit of the day.
Oh, yay! Who died?
Vera. No.
Oh, yeah.
Vera Rubin.
Vera Rubin died, you bet.
88 years old, an astronomer. An astronomer who actually made, I guess, the greatest discovery of the 20th century, practically. According to everybody who's now raving about what she did, she proved the existence of dark matter. And don't ask me, but it's one of the fundamental principles in the study of the universe. And revolutionized the way scientists observe, measure, and understand the universe. It had been theorized in the 1930s, but she was the one who proved it in the 70s. And is considered the most significant and fundamental advance in astronomy during the 20th century. And do you think she ever got a Nobel Prize? Of course not.
Well, it couldn't possibly have been all her. She was a girl, after all.
That's right. What she discovered spawned entire subfields of science within astrophysics and particle physics. She originally had applied to go to get a, I think, master's degree at Princeton when she was obviously young, and was told in no uncertain terms that Princeton does not accept women. So she was rarely taken seriously by other astronomers. She endured constant sexual, harassment, gender discrimination. And get this, she was married and raised 4 children. All the while here's a quote from her. I worked for almost all of my early career.
No wonder she discovered dark matter. Okay, go ahead.
So she has 4 kids, and then she said, I essentially worked part-time because I needed to be home at 3. Because that's when
she discovered dark matter in her spare time.
That they were in school, yeah. She says, I did a lot of my work at home because she had to be the wife, the mother, 4 children. And she still ends up running circles around every male astronomer in the fucking field. And she was the first woman to receive formal approval to actually use the Palomar Observatory in Southern California. And so she shows up there, and they don't have a women's bathroom. And so what she did is she went and cut out a paper of a skirt and put it on the little figure, pasted it on one of the little figures in one of the bathrooms, and said, now we have a ladies' room. Is that cool?
Well, I mean, if you were going to survive being her in that time, that, you had to be at least a little bit assertive.
Oh yeah.
Or she wouldn't have gotten in that place. It's like the movie about these wind mathematicians.
Yeah.
At NASA,
which I want to see.
That, by the way, nobody knew anything about.
No, never heard of them. Lost to history. women, blacks, all these, marginalized people, they do not get their due. They're just starting to. So we start learning things that we never learned before because everything we were taught was the history of white men.
Right, written by white men, and
right.
women couldn't possibly have had
right.
anything to do with it.
Right. There's no doubt about it. So, that classic line about Ginger Rogers doing everything Fred Astaire did, only backwards and in high heels.
High heels, right.
Vera Rubin here is just an obvious indication. And meanwhile, her 4 kids, one she buried, the others are all scientists and mathematicians. All with doctorates. So she raised these. How do you do that? She raised 4 children and had a. Oh, God. And we never heard of her. Vera Rubin.
Right. It turns out that that there were plenty of people that managed to get through that glass ceiling. They were just invisible. That's how you do it.
Well, I don't know about plenty, though. Yeah. So you mentioned that movie. I don't think it's here.
I haven't seen it either, but I
so let's
actually
talk about, since this is when all the movies that are supposed to be the good movies come out because they want to be in Oscar contention and in the minds of the voters. Have you seen any of the ones that are getting?
I haven't seen anything.
Okay. Well, Have you
seen anything?
Yeah. And I don't know what's wrong with me, but...
You don't like any of them?
Not yet.
I haven't seen one that I want to see.
Well, the one I want to see is Fences. I think that's going to be really good.
I do want to see, but that's not a happy little...
No, it's not fun, but I know it'll be really well done. I'm sure it will. Although, I talked to somebody last night who said, well, I saw it, and sometimes it just gets so... These long monologues. And I said, well, that's August Wilson play.
Well, right. And if you listen to the interviews that Denzel Washington is doing, he's sort of preparing people for that. He said, this is a movie that is about its words.
It is. So it's almost poetry, so it's words.
You have to listen to it, and you might have to see it more than once because it's about... I think it's actually why he wanted them on film, so that you could
go back. Right. They're not easy. I've seen a number of his plays, and they're not easy at all. So I am looking forward to that. I did see Manchester by the Sea.
And you didn't like that?
I did not. And I've heard people say, oh, I was crying. Oh, you'll need a clean. I was absolutely unmoved. I don't know why. I blame all of this on Donald Trump. I think I've been, I don't know. But then I saw Jackie.
You did? See, I couldn't be less interested. Okay.
I thought it was very good. I thought it was good. Mm-hmm. Because it tells you, it centers on Jackie Kennedy in just those few, literally within 1 week, from the assassination through the funeral, and then maybe a week after when she does this interview with Theodore White, which is the basis of the film. And you get a sense of her that you haven't had before. And after a while, Natalie Portman really does seem like Jackie Kennedy. At first you're fighting it, and then, because you know what Jackie Kennedy looked like. And then all of a sudden, yeah, she is. And I just thought it was, historically interesting. Mm-hmm. So it's a little movie. But especially for those of us who lived through that horror, really, no, I recommend it. I recommend it over Manchester.
Enough ago that it's not like 2 weeks ago, like the Sully movie. Stuff like that. I just go, come on, that was I just watched the real thing.
Well, I saw that too.
Yeah,
And I was surprised that, knowing what happened, that I still was able to be interested in it, because they focused on the aftermath, the National Transportation Safety Board, blah, 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 blah. And it was part of a story that we never heard before. And then I find out it's also part of the story that never, in fact, really happened.
Right, they made it up.
Yeah. They made up that the NTSB was out to get Sully. I mean, come on.
Well, I think there was. I mean, I remember at the time there was a question about whether...
Could he have made it back to the...
Whether there were other options, and then the answer was no.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that.
No, but so in the movie they have him figuring out and showing and proving that there was absolutely no way through simulation. But that's not how it happened. That's just not what happened.
And that wouldn't be his job anyway. It would be their job to prove that.
Well, that's what happened. In the movie, it's their job to run these simulations, and when they run the simulations, they have him able to land at 2 airports, back to LaGuardia and also, I think, Teterboro. And so he's about to be charged with essentially making a huge mistake. But in the movie, he says, well, wait a minute, and then figures out how they were doing the simulation knowing full well that birds were going to hit the engine. You know what I mean? They had knowledge of 4. He said, you are pulling out of this simulation that this was a sudden event that we had to process in the cockpit. How much time? You're not putting that time in. How much time would that be? And I think he came up with something small. It was like 8 seconds or something, or 6 seconds or something, where you just sort of like get your act together and then figure out what you do. And once you put those few seconds back in, then you can't make it back. You could only make it back if you knew
that this was going to happen and happen when it did, so that
you acted immediately. It's like you knew
right.
immediately what to do, when in fact that's not the case. So that's why they did it in the movie, but I mean, that's not whatever. So I don't know, what else are we supposed to watch? This La La Land thing, I think I'm going to hate.
I know.
And I bet that'll win everything, because it's like, Busby Berkeley musicals during the Depression.
It reminds me of the Depression.
Well, that's what it is. It's like, okay, we all need to be distracted now in some kind of musical extravaganza fantasy kind of thing, because the real world is too frightening. And that's why I think it'll win. I don't know. I don't even feel like I want to see it, but I feel like I have to. So what other god-awful movies are out there that we're all supposed to think are wonderful?
I mean, so I thought last year was sort of like...
Bad, too, yeah.
Because, I mean, I wasn't... The Revenant wasn't anything that I was thrilled about, those sorts of stuff. So,
no, I know. So... I ask you.
I haven't seen any. And
it's It's a Wonderful Life. That's a great movie.
Right.
Why don't they make those anymore? Casablanca, that's a great movie. Mrs. Miniver, that's a great movie. And now what passes for great movies are just this crap. Okay, what are we forgetting? Is there any other good movies out there?
I don't think so. I mean, I can't think of anything that I've been sitting here going, I really want to see that. I'm going to go to that movie, And I've been thinking about, what movies I want to see when I'm in California, where it's easier to do it anyway. And there's just not a whole lot out there. I'll be interested. There'll be the Palm Springs movie
festival
will be.
Well, then, that's where you'll see maybe some better stuff. Like, the best movie I saw was a documentary this year about, and will win, I'm sure, Best Doc, and that's the I've talked about it quite a bit. In the Eagle Huntress. Right. That is simply marvelous. It's a true story. It's a documentary. That was mind-blowing. I sat in a theater that had like 6 people in it. No one sees a movie like that. That's the good movie, and it doesn't have a run in a regular theater, and nobody's there. All right.
Okay, let's try harder. Let's think happy thoughts. Let's see, what could that be?
I don't know.
Were you a lonely Jew on Christmas?
No. I mean, yes. On actual Christmas Day, I was a lonely Jew. I hunkered down. On Christmas Eve, I went out with a family and who always go out for Chinese, and they're not Jews, or actually celebrate Christmas. They go out for Chinese, and I go with them, and that was nice. And then, yeah, I hunkered down on Christmas Day. I don't know. Yeah, this has never been a great holiday for me.
No, it's not my favorite time of the year either. I mean, I can't imagine who wants to be in a shopping mall at this time less. I mean, I don't want to go into all of those crowds. It's just sort of inconvenient.
Well, I don't like being told when I have to get people gifts.
No, I don't either. And now, and frequently, you just get told, you get an order.
Yeah, I know. Hey, someone's calling us. They're probably telling us to shut up.
I know, to take...
Right. Hello?
Lynn, don't forget Lion, which was featured on 60 Minutes, and it's a true story.
Lion?
Lion.
Why did I just read something that said that was a bunch of garbage, too?
Oh, really? Oh, don't disappoint me. It sounds like such a good story.
Well, it might be a good story. That's the one about a kid? Is it?
India.
A kid who's lost in India?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uses Google Earth to find his mother 23 years later.
Oh, man, he was lost.
Read.
I'm sorry. I read, a review.
Oh. Okay.
But maybe it's great. Maybe it's wonderful, uplifting, and all of that.
They had it on 60 Minutes, and it sounded really good.
Okay.
So I thought I'd tell you.
No, I'll tell you what. If they had it on 60 Minutes, here's my guess. That whoever owns, I can't keep track anymore, whoever owns CBS also owns...
the film studio.
The studio.
Okay. All right.
Oh, gee, see... We can depress anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
Okay, have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Next, somebody call.
Somebody call, I'll bat you down, as they say around here. Yeah, I don't know. Can you think of... I don't know. Oh, well, I mean, the big movies are always these idiot things, They're just a lot of fighting and special effects. I was
looking like on Amazon for something for a movie last night, and
there's nothing.
So the latest Woody Allen film was out, and I thought, gee, that came and went without even a ripple in the water.
It was crap.
Did you see it?
No, but nobody liked it. He keeps making the same movie over and over again, and people are, they're sick of it. I think.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. I was sick of him a very long time ago.
Yeah. So, just to lighten things up, you did see what this guy who's the Republican nominee for governor in New York, said
about Michelle
and about Obama.
Yeah.
He was asked what his biggest wish in 2017 was. We have a call. It's beyond belief. Hello.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
I just wanted to say I saw Fences yesterday,
Okay.
and it was okay. I liked it, but I agree there was such long. It just seemed to go so slow in the beginning. That to me was annoying. But the theater was packed, just packed.
Well, sure it was, because that's why I didn't go yesterday, because everybody wants to get there and see it, because Susan, of course it was made here, so there's always this sense of, we want to see our neighborhood and stuff.
Oh, right. But it was really kind of difficult to, you couldn't really, at least I couldn't, and I've lived here all my life.
Tell where anything was.
Yeah, that. And the other one, I just tuned in, and I don't know if you had said something about Collateral Beauty.
No.
Well, that's been given a big write-up, and that it's such a good movie. But, sometimes it's kind of depressing, I think, from what I've seen on the trailers. But I will go see it. But
I hate to tell you, I read reviews all the time. Susan, we have a phone ringing in the studio that we cannot deal with.
Now we can.
Okay.
You hung up on me.
You hung up on the caller.
I have.
hello, I'm here.
Oh, you're here. She's there.
I know, but I need you to.
I'm here.
Okay.
What did the review say?
It wasn't good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Collateral Beauty. It's not getting good reviews.
Well, I guess they just always just show you the best parts on the trailers on television,
What's that about, Collateral Beauty?
Will Smith has...
Oh, that's the Will Smith one. It has been panned.
And everybody hates it.
Everybody hates it. It is that bad. Yeah. They're saying Will Smith has been doing these horrible movies where he likes to, I guess it's his Scientology coming out, where, they're supposed to have a message and a this and a that, and they're awful, apparently, and they're saying he's ruining his reputation doing these.
Wow.
It's that bad. So much for collateral damage.
That's right. Well,
Collateral
those
Beauty.
Fences, but
Oh, Beauty.
Said, I thought it was kind of long in the beginning. I thought, oh, my God, let's get on with it.
Okay, well, that's what I heard, too. But that's because that's the play. That's the play. They're very true to the play, and those plays ain't easy. There was nothing easy about August Wilson.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, you girls have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. I dare you.
Anyone else going to call up and we can dash your dreams?
I just was really impressed that you'd managed to knock me off again.
Oh, we did knock you off when we were doing
yeah,
that?
I called you back. You knocked me off.
I didn't do it. I have no control here.
Oh.
Look at my hands. They are up all the... Oh, speaking of hands, so you did see Trump's Christmas tweet?
No.
Where he's in front of it's just a picture of him, sort of in profile, in front of a Christmas tree, and for some reason, he's got his hand in a fist, and it's like, the fist looks like a teeny-weeny little fist, too. It's the first time I saw where, oh my God, his hands are ridiculously small. So there's this little teeny fist, and it says something like, Merry Christmas, with a fist, and nobody else to be seen. What the hell's that about?
He's nuts. He's like a 3-year-old, and God help us, he managed to convince an awful lot of people that
That he was going to fix things.
That he was somehow going to be good for them.
Well, but what that tells you about people is frightening. It's just frightening. And we are now rethinking democracy.
I know, and by the way, Obama was right. He would have beaten him.
I think so, too.
Because he had the coalition that Hillary couldn't put together.
Yeah.
Although our mother will not forgive Obama ever, ever, ever.
What, for the abstention at the UN?
Yeah.
A big deal.
Well, that's sort of right.
I don't care. So, I mean, come on. Those settlements are illegal. And they're a roadblock to peace. And Netanyahu is the biggest son of a bitch in the universe.
I have no argument with you about any of that.
Okay. Anyway, so this wealthy Republican who ran for governor of New York.
Right. They called.
Here's what he said. He was asked what was on his wish list for the new year, and he said this. His biggest wish? Obama catches mad cow disease after being caught having relations with a cow, and then he dies. Well, they don't have the exact thing. I mean, it was uglier than that.
Yeah.
And is buried in a cow pasture. He also says he hopes Michelle Obama will return to being a male and let loose in the outback of Zimbabwe, where she lives comfortably in a cave with a gorilla.
I mean, yep.
I mean, how do you even
get to the place where that's what you're...
Well, that's why I'm saying that this is how Donald Trump gets elected. This is America. This is a guy who the Republicans put up for the governor of New York. Jesus.
Well, this is all okay now. We've they drained the swamp, and all of these racist, anti-Semite, anything but themselves people came crawling out.
Yeah.
The ones that I can't understand are the ones that are parts of the groups that...
Yeah. That are being marginalized. Jewish people voting for him.
I don't understand black people being for Trump.
Yeah, I mean, well, there aren't many.
I don't understand Hispanic people being for Trump.
Yeah.
But, and I bet you there's a Muslim here or there that's for Trump. I don't get it.
Well, again, I also think they weren't so much for Trump as they hated Hillary Clinton that much. She'd been demonized to the point where, I mean, they really thought she was the devil incarnate. I don't know. I don't get it either, but it's upsetting. Gigi writes, wow, Gigi Susan is enjoying this. I'm enjoying the discussion of movies. Sorry, though, I can't give any recommendations. We got a call. Hi, how can we depress you?
I'm already depressed.
Okay. Oh, you're already depressed.
Yeah,
okay.
But no, I was going to say, do you ever notice he relates to the people like the Israel leader and Putin?
Yeah.
Other guy, to other a-holes.
Yeah.
Because he's an a-hole.
Yeah, that's right. He likes strong men. He likes...
Even Patton, he was kind of an a-hole, too.
Oh, he was totally an a-hole.
He used to slap guys. They were having trouble in the war. And slap them in the face.
Yeah. But you understand that Trump doesn't know anything about Patton. He saw the movie.
No.
That's all. He thinks Patton is George C. Scott.
Yeah.
Hey.
I actually think he's going to get impeached or something.
Well, yeah, but then we got Mike Pence.
Yeah, I know. Oh, boy.
All you gay people, guard your genitalia!
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Well, good. You're already depressed, so go away.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, bye. Gigi says, I can't give you any recommendations for movies. I haven't seen a good one in a long time. I did see the latest Woody Allen movie, and it was awful. I wanted to see The Eagle Huntress, but couldn't get to the theater for its incredibly short run. Yeah. Too bad movies like that don't make the main theaters. I agree that La La Land sounds mediocre, even though I'm a big John Legend fan. We need some good movies. Well, they don't make them anymore. All the talent that used to make good movies is now doing them for television. Mm-hmm. It's the private. It's your homes. And movie theaters are going to go down the tubes.
Well, and the genre is changing so that instead of being confined to a 2.5 hour thing, you got people doing, miniseries.
Right.
that are the quality of what movies used to be.
Right. So, yeah, all the good stuff now is happening for the smaller screen and in often, as Susan said, episodic long form. And the only thing that the studios are doing for the movies are ones that will make tons of money globally, which is why there's next to no dialogue and there's just action, because that translates over, you don't have to do subtitles for that. And we are so not used to dialogue now that I can see where Fences,
you're horrified, right?
where Fences is probably like, my God, this person's been talking for like, what is it, 2 minutes? But yeah, that's the difference. It really is a play.
Well, we didn't even talk about the Star Trek movie, the Star Wars movie,
Yeah.
which I'm not interested in, but my son and daughter-in-law saw
Sure.
it, and they were very satisfied. So
Yeah.
if you are a Star Wars fan,
That's worth seeing. Maybe I'll go see that just for the fun of
That's
it.
also getting
Yeah.
mediocre reviews.
Right. Hello, we got a call. How can we depress you?
You haven't depressed me one bit today.
Damn. Okay.
I just loved all the different things you talked about today.
Really?
Oh gosh, yes. I wanted to call earlier about some Donald Trump stuff, but I waited for the movie stuff. I went with my family, of course, on Christmas to go and see Fences, and I thought that it was just phenomenal.
Did you?
I didn't think that it went slowly at any point. Okay, I didn't see the play like an idiot, but Viola Davis, it's worth going just to see Viola Davis.
I bet. She really is a great actress.
Unfreaking believable.
Mm-hmm.
She's just amazing. She stands out in that film more than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy who plays Denzel Washington's brother is amazing too, but Viola Davis is worth going to see the film for more than anything.
Well, I'm definitely going.
I mean, it's very Pittsburgh too, but Viola Davis is amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the good review.
Sure.
Appreciate it. And your chipper voice. God.
It's Susie from Swiss Helm Park.
Hi, Susie.
From from my old radio days that I always have a chipper voice. I don't know.
Well, that's good. It sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
And thanks for making me laugh. Bye.
Bye.
Hey. That was Susie from Swiss Helm Park. So, Joellen has written me. Susan, I said on Friday on the show that one of the things that just drives me nuts is when the Brits say, and so-and-so is in hospital.
Right.
Does that bother you, too?
Well,
What the hell happened to the? What hospital? I mean, they don't do it for other things. Where you dropped the before? I'm going to library?
Well, but wait a minute. We do say so-and-so is in jail. We don't say in the jail. No, it doesn't bother me. It's the way they use the language. I was actually driving in yesterday from St. Louis. I was listening to a linguist talk about just these things, about, how not to get so bothered by these differences, that language is a living entity that is constantly changing and evolving, and the formal English is one thing, but the spoken language is and always has been two different things.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
So, no, it doesn't bother me, but yes, I do notice.
Gigi goes on to say a lot of things, but then she says, my final point, several times I have heard President Obama say that he had to give up his BlackBerry when he became president. I know that none of the rules pertain to Trump, but I thought the cell phone was a security issue. I also have read about Trump's... Yeah, that is a point.
Well, that is a point. But Obama minded. When he was told that, he just said okay, and Trump says no.
But anybody can... I don't know.
What are you worried about? That Putin's going to get his secrets? He'll tell them.
It's true. Margie says Denzel deserves the Oscar for Fences. He was a real bastard. Yeah, that's not a likable character. Although it's a tragic character. I mean, he's bitter because racism cost him what could have been a career in baseball. I mean, think of all the men it did that to. And she says it's just like being at the play. Although a little better because you can actually move around a little bit more, so you can see him picking up garbage.
It's the best. And he also said during the interview that he had a contract to do every single one of those plays. So, I think that he's looking to put this body of work on film.
Yeah, he wants to do the whole cycle, and I'll tell you, these are not going to be blockbuster films, any of them. People don't like this kind of thing. It's not for the masses.
No, but I think HBO has given him the contract. But
that'll be great.
That's the point. That things are different now. They're done differently, and they can find their market without precisely because people watch on smaller screens now.
Right. Well, Suze, I want to thank you very much.
Oh, did we manage to do it? Cool.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm going to be here tomorrow. I don't know what the hell we're going to do tomorrow. And then thank God Celine's going to Vancouver Thursday and Friday, so I can't be here.
Oh, have a good time. That is a wonderful place. You will.
Her brother lives there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So she's going to Vancouver.
Cool.
I'm going nowhere. So the doc doubled my antidepressant. It's not kicked in yet.
Well, maybe it'll help, and then you'll be unnaturally, and then you'll just be, you'll just be zonked out.
No, I won't. I don't know what it would take to zonk me out. No, I don't think so. Anyway, to hell with it. Bah humbug!
Bye. Make your plans for California.
Yeah, right. You betcha. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Suze. And you guys, I'm really sorry. Although the few people who called seemed to think it was okay. I sure didn't. But what the heck. Maybe I'll have like some visitation between now and tomorrow's show. Like an angelic kind of intervention, sort of like It's a Wonderful Life, when I'll see things in a different way. And my tone will change. And I will really be able to say, without irony, sarcasm, or anything but the greatest sincerity, it's a wonderful life. Bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.